6 o'clock, we'll call the meeting to order. First order of business is the pledge of the flag. I just United States of America. Here, the state hands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Go on. We'll move the minutes of July 16th. So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion on a second. Child. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? I'll think what was it? Okay, I'm good too. Members reports, Ron? No, nothing this week. Juggy?
No, guess not. We got other things.
Don't get shy on us.
No, but there's other,
Be shy.
but I mean. Won't come on to the manager, but when it's brought up, I'll say something.
Okay, all right, we'll wait for that. Jeff?
I'm good.
And nothing from me other than frustration with the lights, but I think that's everybody, so I'll just dive into the town manager's report.
So those lights are all now able to be controlled remotely, so they sit in their control room in Augusta and they can take a live look right down to that intersection and they can figure out what's firing and what's not. So the last time it was 2 cameras that were just offline and they didn't know why, and my guess is that after about noon time today, same thing. But it's been back up all afternoon. Not in my written report, but we've had water problems around here lately. We've had the water service line here on the end of the building opened up on Saturday morning that we're aware of. It started bubbling, so thank you to Public Works for coming in and fixing that. Evidently the service zigzags all around this property to come into the building, so it comes off the street and it goes up and down and then back to the back corner, and it's all old and seemingly original, so that's gonna be something that we need to look at to probably just replace it all here in the near future. And then this morning we went downstairs to get supplies and there's water all over the floor from the water heater that has jumped. So Mike Wayner came out real quick and he's gonna come in and install some water heater. But a few unexpected expenses coming into this building the last few days. Local road assistance program, that money from the state that supports our roads. That is a share of the transportation fund. And so that right now, we're looking at actually 76,500 in the state fiscal year, which is up almost 11,000 versus what we got the same period last year, so that's good. Real estate liens filed, we ended up with 108 going up to Skowhegan. Last year was 91. So it's less, it's more customers this year that are delinquent, but the value is actually less. So I think largely, if you take a look at it, one might infer that maybe there are some economic conditions that are impacting that there, but it's not drastic in one way or one direction or another. Personal property tax reminders, those are the business tax on equipment, shelving, new technology, things like that. Those went out. We have only 4 delinquent accounts now. I sent out notices to 5 or 6. I've got 4 right now, so we're hoping that they'll start to come current soon. And if we move in the right direction, then we can avoid that formal collection process as we've been able to in the past. The cemetery update, I'm gonna skip over that because that's gonna be on your agenda. But there is the rock here, which we're gonna hopefully add under other business. That we need to discuss later on in partnership with the Historical Society. The water district project, so the water district project on Upper Main Street has moved along. They've tried to minimize interruptions to service. That was not really what the contractor hoped for, but that's what the water district had insisted on. So we did have issues with unauthorized road closure, whether it was whole or in part. They had asked for permission to close the road. I asked for some discount provided to the water district in exchange for partial or full road closure, for which they did not want to offer, but they told the engineer that they had communicated to us already. Needless to say, I was not a happy camper. The road was reopened, but we are the largest ratepayer of the water district. And so it behooves us to ensure that the water district is getting the bang for their buck. And on a lump sum contract, if a contractor bid on one where they thought they had to have traffic control and they thought they were gonna have a lane closed lane open to traffic, there are significant cost savings for that contractor to benefit from the road being shut down. And so the fact that they didn't want to entertain any of that, was a little discouraging. To be compounded by the contractor starting to use Upper Main Street Cemetery as a laydown yard. They set up an office trailer, they brought in an old delivery, and it then prevented our contractor from being able to access the cemetery for regular maintenance. So I called their engineer and I asked them to remove the office trailer and all materials from town property. Because they didn't have permission, and then I told them that if they'd like to negotiate with another department or another entity, that they were more than welcome to. Long and short of it was the water district then got mad because it was gonna cause a delay. And I heard that maybe the going rate for laydown was about $1,000 on the project. So I suggested that instead of moving their trailer, they offer a donation of $1,000 to the town to be deposited into the cemetery reserve account. For which was received in less than 24 hours. So a lot of hiccups and zero communication there from the contractor, very minimal communication from the water district. But we're in a good way now.
Who give you $1,000, the contractor or the water district?
Pardon?
Who give you the $1,000?
It came from the contract. Well, that was the name of the check. Now we also know that the project on Main Street last year was not done properly. And there are boxes, valves, what do we call them? Curb stops,
sort of.
Hey, they're not low enough.
Jesus.
And so they've got to go through and lower all of those. I obviously pumped the brakes because I wanted to know what impact it's gonna have on Main Street traffic. Which they say it will have none. It's all gonna be the shoulder and they're not gonna lose a lane of traffic. That has been guaranteed to me by the engineer and by the water district. I will be very disappointed if it does, because that obviously has something to do with our intersection project that we're targeting. And because of what the water district said, I've given the contractor on the intersection project an additional amount of time to complete the project.
So who eats that? The contractor, the bonding company, or what?
I'm not sure. Everybody's going like this.
Yeah.
And so obviously the contractor has the obligation to complete the project in the way that they had asked for it to be done. But, you know, the client, being the water district, also employed an engineer to do inspections. And so, anyway, it was just really through accident that they found out that this was all the case. Neither here nor there. It's really not my business, so to say, but because we have such a significant stake in what is paid in the impact on our infrastructure, that's why we're keeping a pulse on it. And then the last component of that, before I get off that soapbox, is that communication has been very minimal. Between the water district and the town. There's water shutoffs that we weren't knowing about, but we get all the calls, okay? And they can call, they can listen to the voicemail, they can go on the website, but they don't, they call here. So I've asked Kellyanne over the water district, she's pledged that to me as well, with no issues, even though it's really not her job. But let me know as much advance notice as you can, and I will give you my distribution. I'm not gonna give it to you, I will let you make use of our distribution list, our text systems and things like that, our signage or whatever, so that people know, because ultimately it's our taxpayers that are suffering, and it's been really inopportune to say the least. And so, anyway, we look forward to stronger communications between the water district and town, and also their users. The new school open house up in Skowhegan was very well attended yesterday. That was a building tour and a barbecue. But I did not do the tour or barbecue, I was just there to represent the town. Your waste management fees came in actually year over year was down, but we're still up almost 12%. The wide area mower out to the airport, which has disclosed mechanical issues, is out to bid. Those will be due on August 14th. The music series down in Sewell Park, very strong attendance last night. The weather is staying on track for everything there. The 50-50, the local portion of that proceeds are benefiting local nonprofits. And last night was the biggest one so far. I think they ended up giving $114 to the Historical Society. So each week they're making a little bit of an impact in their own small way for that. The multi-use machine, this is our sidewalk machine. Our roadside mowing machine. Has been amongst the missing, obviously. when it came time for roadside mowing, we ended up having to outsource that, if you may be aware. That is supposed to be coming back to us tomorrow, so we paid good money to Allied Equipment for that. And Deutz, I wanna say is the manufacturer, I might be butchering the pronunciation, but. We have had problems with that machine, we had problems with oil levels, pressure relief, throwing codes, and then ultimately just stalling out. They came and towed it, and. And the long and short of it was that we've been without the machine and we had to outsource roadside mowing, so. They've been in relative frequent contact with us, ultimately, to me, discouraging results. These issues began to present themselves back in February, which is documents on both ends of this. Occurred periodically through mid-May. And when we moved over to the sweeper and it had hydraulic fluid problems, or gauge problems. It stopped working, so on May 14th, since May 14th, we've not had that machine. We outsourced roadside mowing to the tune of a little over $9,000 for round one. Hopefully this machine is going to come back to us tomorrow with training to allow us to do that moving forward, but. Pretty much they said that the only thing that anybody's willing to do is to restart our warranty period, starting from the date of redelivery. So, candidly, I'm very discouraged with that response. It almost screams lemon to me. And I've conveyed that to our dealer, even though they are just the dealer, they're not the manufacturer, but. The process for fixing this was drawn out because the manufacturer said, this is the process that you have to do. And so we've done all of that. I'm just really discouraged, and
How much money did we spend on that?
9,700 is in the warrant.
No.
Pretty at 200,
Under 200 grand.
Pretty at 200 for the whole
Correct.
thing, everything.
and so I
And
have,
we're paying for, okay.
Yeah,
and so I.
yeah.
And
Pick up
continue
again
to be
sometime.
respectful, but at this point in time.
Throw them a bill.
If somebody is not willing to come through and make good for the town on the expense of roadside
They
mowing.
wanna do something.
I don't think that we will recommend purchasing anything from them again in the future, small, medium, or large. And I don't want to say that because they have been responsive, but I think that there's a responsibility of the vendor. And the manufacturer.
Do they offer any equipment to take its place while it was down?
No, and I had asked. I've asked for a replacement machine altogether, and then what they've settled on is we'll restart your warranty. So needless to say, the resolution is very discouraging. I've resubmitted the invoice again this afternoon. And I await being denied. I don't think that we have any legal challenge. I think that it is a moral solution. And I'm hoping that between the company that we wrote the check to and their supplier, that they're able to come up with and make it right by us. That was one of the big things that we get used in terms of buy-in with the voters, and so, it just doesn't look good for everybody.
I don't know, the 9,700 that you spent to Wentworth, they wanna be able to eat half that. It's
Sort
not,
of, something.
what?
Something,
They'll do something, if it ain't,
so we just have to wait and see what they do.
I wanna get that little salesman here, have a super temper tantrum. Talk to him so he understands,
What's the reasoning that they're not
cause they
going good on it?
cause they don't want to.
There you go.
Honestly, I've been reduced to them calling it pain and suffering.
Yeah. You talk to some people who used to work with the owner there, and they'll tell you, the word begins with an A. What do you,
I just don't understand how.
how they can
They
do that,
never offered. For almost $200,000, you don't even have a piece of equipment that they would, here, take this and mow your roadsides, we'll get this fixed and get it back something.
you go down
That's
Hammond,
terrible way to do business as far as I'm
you
concerned.
go down Hammond Track to spend 200,000, they'll bring you some kind of loan to get you by.
Is where it came from.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, yeah, we'll just continue, I don't want rampant speculation on this, we'll just wait and see what they do and.
May have the future agenda.
Right,
Mr. Chairman.
yes,
Just they wanna do something.
I agree, someone should do something, but until we're denied.
I had to fit about $300 delivery fee.
But
Why, you're not gonna go-
we'll just, we'll continue with the town manager real quick.
On a lighter note, I wish we had like the DJ ability to just bring up that sound bite, so we could replay that and bring that up.
Yeah. But I'm just, I mean, that's the amount of money spent on that thing and they,
At the last meeting, Lindsay had expressed concerns about safety in Lucille Park, primarily surrounding the boat launch, so. We had a quick sign done up, it's obviously larger than this, but I think it gets to what we need to. It also is in line with state statute. State statute says if we've helped fund your boat launch, you are subject to certain rules. And so we were able to cite that, and whether or not it gets enforced, it is what it is, but ultimately it's a protector for us as well as voters that are in the area, so. In a perfect world, that whole billboard to the right side of the launch is gonna be redone, so it all looks nice and cohesive. And then we'll have a small spot for on and off postings, but, that is there. Comprehensive plan update committee, this is kind of laid quiet for a while, but we're gonna be looking to kick this up in September or October, so anybody that's interested in serving on that committee, please reach out to the town office. Preferably a quick volunteer application would be beneficial. The estimated commitment for members would be 2 nights, 2 hours a night and only 1 night a month. To work our way through this. Honestly, a lot of it's cookie cutter and they're just looking for your perspective. It's an opportunity to weigh in on long-term goals, short-term and long-term goals for the town and help set forth. Kind of what we look at. There are grants that are out there, state funding that's out there that will say, does this align with your comprehensive plan? And if we can't say yes, then we're not gonna be eligible for those types of financial benefits, so. It was in the newsletter, people can go back to that if they wanna know a little bit more about it, or they can reach out direct to us. The parking lot paving out to the airport, you'll remember we had approved $50,000 2 years ago to do that, and that came in at over 80,000. And we just kind of sat recently, the airport advisory said. We'd like to take that money and do what we can do with it, so. That's what we've done, we've gone to 3 contractors. We tried to piggyback on the airport project itself, but they just didn't have the capacity with all the contracts they had in place, so we went to Fine Line, we went to two others. I have them in my office. One of them said I can't do it, the other one came in about $72,000 for what Fine Line was willing to do for 50. That includes the fine rate and whatnot, so we're moving forward with that. And so that will fulfill one of the commitments to the airport. Your 2025 tax bills, if everything goes well, the assessors will commit those tomorrow and those will be in the mail next week. And then those will be due on September the 16th. Your new plate information is still there, we've got a lot of folks coming in, not terribly happy that we're telling them they need new plates, and that's because. State government's telling you need to go give them another $25 in order to keep their plate numbers, so please do that. We can get that information for you at the office. Airport advisory will meet on the 21st for a regular meeting. Trustees are on regular scheduled planning board, it's not meeting until September. But at that point in time, they will be nominating a member of the committee to be seated on the comprehensive plan. Update committee, they have 1 fixed seat. Fire department also has 1 fixed seat. Tax assessors, 8:30 tomorrow morning is commitment. TIF is scheduled to meet on the 27th. I'm not sure if they have anything. And the work is underway on the fascia repair at the firehouse. And there have been issues that we've found nominal, really, in terms of what we couldn't see initially. And then there's obviously a punch list and some things that the chief had noticed and just shared with the contractor the site visit. That we expect to be done and done properly.
I expect them to be done this week, maybe as soon as tomorrow.
Excellent. Okay, that wraps you up, thank you. Number 6 here, discussion action on August 6th, general warrant number 14.
Make a motion to approve general warrant number 14 in the amount of $60,835.75.
Motion and a second, any discussion?
you already talked about the more.
Seeing none, all those in favor? It's everybody. Public comment.
Just have one question for you, Richard, on the hot water here. You going with the heat pump hot water or just traditional?
We are going with a traditional electric hot water heater. It's just a small boiler,
Oh, okay,
just suspended from the ceiling now. So
okay, I just.
Good question.
Just watching.
Yeah, that's a good process.
It's all in here, there's no shower and.
Yeah, okay, 9 months, yeah, it's not big enough. But
Anything else? Public comment?
hey, you got half the book, take it out, take the rest of it out while you're at it. This would be perfect opportunity to do so. Just so I put that in there.
I have one thing,
Alright,
Please.
Wildly Hill Road update, briefly, is it still anticipated this fall or?
It
Our
is,
engineer,
yeah, so, you know, I'm gonna have a PE by the time I'm done, but, I made connections for the remaining utilities to move the lines over to the poles. So Charter should be in town before the end of the week and have that completed, and then after that, it's TDS. And I've opened up a project with TDS, so they will hopefully be able to get in next week.
Spectrum is on that as well.
Charter, Spectrum, right, yeah. They need to come in first, but the engineer didn't know that Spectrum was in there, and so. I got that covered for you.
I do get questions on that, I said, how the hell, I can't find it all. It's still smoother than it was been for a number of years.
It is a little better.
So the contractor has a substantial completion date, which is coming up probably next month, probably that's getting pushed out because they've been held up, I presume.
We appreciate very much the contractor's flexibility with, the inconveniences offered by the town's consultants,
Sure.
okay?
They're still holding their price, or they're gonna get grumpy.
We genuinely appreciate the flexibility of our contract. We held it for well over a year.
Yeah.
Moving forward. Number 8 here, discussion action on cemetery revenues.
All right, so I went reading in cemetery statute in the state, and we remember back a while, I think it was Kathy that brought it to our attention, Kathy Hopkins, chair of the cemetery committee, said a portion of lot sales must be, oh, there's Becky.
Read every town reports and I'm not credit for it.
Okay. So a portion of lot sales has to be perpetual care, and that perpetual care has to go into the cemetery trust. So we made a pretty substantial shift of funds from general fund into the perpetual care trust, cemetery trust. But now I have section 1305 from the same title that says that all proceeds from the sales of the lots in the cemetery shall be applied solely to the management, superintendent's improvement and maintenance of the cemetery, the avenues, paths, structures, whatnot. There's one clean way to make sure that we're doing it, because most of our cemetery maintenance isn't clean cut. Our cemetery maintenance, larger portion of it, is buried in its own department that's shared by all other properties, being the mobile contract. So my recommendation to you is to authorize the allocation of all cemetery plot revenue to the cemetery reserve. So when we get money in for the sale of a cemetery plot, perpetual care money will go into the cemetery trust, and the lot proceeds will go into the reserve account. And that will ensure that we're compliant with statute. And then on the bottom of your sheet, this year we haven't sold much, we've got $525 in lot sales, that excludes perpetual care. Last year was 3,000, but the year before there was nothing, so it's hit or miss. COVID was good to the cemetery sales, but we just don't really know.
Need a motion?
I would appreciate a motion to direct all cemetery plot revenues, except in perpetual care funds, to be deposited to the cemetery reserve.
I'm so moved because I'm not repeating that.
Thanks.
Motion is a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? It's everybody. Number 9, discussion action on letter of concern on cemetery conditions.
The board has been sent a letter from Margaret Ames Flynn of Northeast Harbor. She and her family expressed concerns early this spring with regards to the condition of Sunset View Cemetery. At the time, it was it's the Ames family plot, which is second entrance right near the road. And they said, why does it look so awful? Why can't we fix it? So I went to a picture of the area that they were talking about, which is pretty commonplace there. And I sent it to two contractors, I think we mentioned this at the time, actually. One of them said, and then the other one said, this is kind of what you're looking at for a situation, and this is how you solve it. And that solution was for that time, it was, grubs and topsoil. Well, the grubs are dead, and, well, wait, the cemetery committee at that point in time reviewed a cost estimate for about $7,000 to take care of these grubs, top seed and whatnot. And make it look nice in the cemetery area, not the outlying areas. And they said, well, doesn't seem terribly prudent right now to spend $7,000 on that. So I shared with the family that, look, at this point in time, we're not gonna do anything, and it's been quiet since. Until we got this letter. So this letter then gives their family history, talks about their concerns. What they believe is our responsibility of respect and funding, and then they also offer up $3,500 to go towards solving the problem. So I shared this then back with the cemetery committee, informally through email and said, what are your thoughts? And there's passion, but there's no resolution. So I bring this to you for initial discussion, if you folks have strong opinions one way or another. But then also my recommendation is to, table and defer to cemetery.
I mean, because it's all brown now, because,
It is all brown now, pretty much everywhere,
and those grubs, they come and they go, and they wear
They
the
do.
clothes.
but they have been looking a little rough. Prior to this. I think it was okay for Jimmy Gordon's service, and then after that, it kind of tanked off. I definitely understand what they're saying.
I know what they're saying, but as a whole, I think the cemeteries look excellent myself, but I know that we're talking about
Yeah,
grubs.
we always have taken pride in our cemeteries, they do, I mean, they're not good, we maintain them.
That's the one with the sandy soil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't there a bigger sheet than just top seeding with the sandy soil like that?
Cause you could spend, well, yeah, maybe you spend $17,000 for an irrigation system.
You speak.
Sure, that's gonna work.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So if it's relevant. It just had lit, my property is not, in fact, I bought that property.
Right.
It's not very far away. And I have a lot of the same soils, and I had Lynch come do a soils test, and Jerry's comment to me was. I'm not sure I've ever seen results from the soils test with less organics in the soil than. What they got from our front hill, which is same soils, it's
sandy.
tough, it's a acidic sand pit.
what do you end up doing?
Laughed at his number and have a nice day. Just,
Yeah, it's not a cheap solution.
But
No,
I understand where they come from completely, and
Yeah.
I get that, but I think
I like.
even
One
with
does
that,
grow
amount,
that horse quick.
it's a temporary fix. If you ask me, Lynch, they would know better, they do this for a living, but. This is my experience with that type of soil, especially with what you got, it's. We may be good for. What, a year or something?
Yeah.
Until it dries back out.
I mean, I definitely would like to see
No, I would
green
too.
cemeteries, but with the price tag attached to it. It's different, it's not a guaranteed thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, this
because-
is really the first year that it's really looked that bad.
Cause we had a good dry, this is probably as dry as it's been since '01, '99, we had a dry
Yeah.
year, '93, we had a dry year. I mean, this ain't been this dry for 25 years.
Right, and if it's gonna be if every summer is gonna be like this moving forward, if we run into the same issue next year. I honestly think I would look into irrigation
Yeah, but you,
before I looked into just
But you
spending
know,
the seven.
you know that would cost, cause you'd have to be to get that rig, that holy old snow.
Oh, well, right, but if we were gonna do something, I'd want it to be a perimeter there.
Correct.
And irrigation would, and I don't think we've reached that point, to
No,
spend
I
that kind of money.
Was the soil test expensive to do?
No.
I didn't get a bill for it, but
They're not.
I have,
I'm sorry, would it behoove us to do that?
I-
Oh, it's weird.
What? What?
22.
Yeah, it ain't very much.
So maybe it behoove us to do that,
I knew enough with Lynch, they didn't send me a bill, so.
just to,
I would think that would be the most,
prudent thing,
Yeah, there you go.
going forward, that we're not just, I hate to use the term perfume on a pig, but dress it up for a short amount of time and then it
right,
Comes back.
comes right
It's done.
back in no time.
Right, but if we see this next year and the year after, I might entertain something a
Yeah.
little drastic to make sure that we do have a lush green cemetery. I don't wanna go to a funeral up there and see a desert, a dead grass.
But I mean, you go to that cemetery, then, well, cause they're the only ones that sell new wash and, so, speak of.
You always. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah, I guess I
I
didn't
mean-
realize that.
I mean, and there might be a couple available at the Williamson Cemetery maybe, but that's the only rest of them on floor, they then some.
Well, and the rest of them look good. I mean, I came by the river.
That's
and they
more
said-
shade, really, that helps.
So.
Yeah.
I do appreciate the
No, I do
gesture
too.
of offering to pay for it. I wouldn't feel right accepting their money, even if we were going to. If we were gonna spend the 7, I feel that we would bear the brunt of it.
Yeah,
And if someone wants to make a donation to our cemeteries of 3,500, I would rather go to something that was like fencing or something. Nice, a monument, a plaque, irrigation, like something that was a permanent fix.
right.
I would hate, I don't say, it's not wasteful with the money, but there's no guarantee.
Right.
If you could tell me that, hey, you spend 7 and you're gonna have lush green forever, I think we do it in a heartbeat. I think this whole board would agree.
Even a long term, 7 to 10 years would be
Yeah,
a difference.
Yeah,
Think it's
but
gonna
for a
be
second
best.
season,
Cause you'd have to put, I mean, they know, you have to get in the water and oh my god, then there'd be a water bill to it, oh, what a can of worms you
no,
do.
it definitely would be a can of worms. And like I said, if we see this year after year, I think we may have to
And
do
those
something.
Oh, I was
Is
gonna-
that kind of what you guys came up with, too, the same
More or less, yes,
thoughts? Yeah,
that.
We'd
if you're
love
gonna
to do it.
Something, either, like you said, it's an acidic sand pit, and that's not the kind of soil grass will grow in. So either you plant something else that would tolerate that kind of soil and stay low,
Think of that.
or, and look
She didn't
good.
mention,
Like hawkweed, for example,
yeah, that's what she mentioned, didn't it?
is, I mean, hawkweed grows in that kind of condition and stays green, and grubs don't eat the roots of hawkweed, but probably
I'll
that's.
sell you some of that.
That may not
Plenty,
be
huh?
the idea of a beautiful cemetery, but that's what you have to work with, is poor soil that doesn't grow grass well. So
The Oscar Cemetery is good digging.
that's right. Yes.
So,
So you. So the cemetery committee has been trying to. Come up with some different strategies that might be workable.
Can you just breeze through your background for the board, or rather than just a cemetery, just person?
So, as a retired University of Maine Cooperative Extension educator, with a pesticide license for turf management.
Oh.
Not.
How did you start going like that? Why am I even talking?
Not that there's ever been a great call for turf management in this county. But, yeah, the Department of Ag. July issue of their newsletter. On different pests and diseases said specifically, you don't need to do anything about Japanese beetles because. They're all going to be dead because they don't tolerate heat. And so the larvae won't survive over the winter, so, putting something down to kill grubs is a waste of money at this point. So you can cross that off the list, but, if you want lush green grass, unless you can bring in new soil, it will be a year after year struggle. And, up at, on over Main Street there, it's a similar soil condition. Parts of it is green and parts of it are bare ground and it's all because of the excessive heat that we've had this summer.
Yeah.
Everybody's lawn is turning brown. We're all in the same boat as far as that goes.
Oak is the same way. And I had somebody from out of town came, from a very wealthy town in North Carolina, who saw what we'd done for the rest, the town has done for preservation and restoration at the Historical Society. We took him through that. We went down to see his relatives. His ancestors were among the builders and financiers for the first meeting hall in 1797. So we, had a real deep love for the town, and we went and looked. This was before we had the letter from you or anything about what was going on in the town. He reached over and he picked up, so saying that I can see why you can't go grass here. I am so impressed with what the town is doing. They've taken care of these stones, it's 200-year-old slate, standing, looks in good condition. He's really done a beautiful job. He said, I wish our community would do this kind of thing. Afterwards, I looked up this community, it's not able to do it. But he didn't do it, but I also do. I think that Kathy and another member of the committee went to a lot of trouble researching and giving suggestions, and Sally everybody had a lot to say about water, and so there is passion. They're all,
I think we all
we
have.
had passion, but they were really good, educated, deep thoughts. There were quotes from you had quotes from the US Department.
The Department of Ag.
Right. Passion had a whole bunch of things on rules and everything else, and did not just. There wasn't a whining session, it wasn't a passion that we really like the flowering weeds or any of that kind of stuff. There is some of that, there are people, but, I think you've got kind of three groups. You've got the people who want green grass. You've got the more environmentally concerned people who really like seeing the yellow to the bottom. And then you've got the people who like kind of probably the green grass and the blame. And those three groups are quite different. And I've got, it's Riverview, I've got grandparents going back to great grandparents. It's always been sandy. Some of them are farmers. I'm sure they love seeing the wildflowers in summer. And also in our family, we buy soil every year. We take it over there, we plant the flowers that we want. And we're done. We've never tried to do anything with grass. It's obvious you can't do it. It's not just, it's gotten worse over time, but it's been bad forever. I was talking. Every year, it's just never been good soil.
It sounds like you guys are on it.
Yeah.
And certainly far more educated than any of us in regards to it. And I appreciate what you guys have done this far.
Yeah.
So I think we'll just leave it in your guys' hands and.
Do you need a motion to table, what you just said?
Yes, because I would like, if they do follow up with us, I'd like to be able to say that we considered it and that you defer to it.
I appreciate the.
No, I do too.
Our cemetery and the gesture of the money, which is fantastic. But at this point right now, I think it's let it ride the way it is.
So I'll make them.
Give one shout out.
Yeah.
These regular contractors done for the past couple of years. From the note that we had is. He said it couldn't be fixed. I mean, he just. So if you got somebody who's been doing this for years, taking care of it and said. It's not gonna, I can't do it without, he didn't know that we might truck in soil. Make an irrigation system or whatever. So-
Geez,
You can let me do it.
Right,
Trust me. I won't share the number.
Let's change the box and see what's the question.
I'll make a motion to table it and defer back to. These
Cemetery.
cemetery.
I'll second it.
Second, motion a second, any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's everybody, and thank you again. Definitely should have led with. Okay, moving forward here, number 11, discussion action on appointments.
You ain't done 10 yet.
You're okay.
Yep, sorry,
So in this, in your package, you've got an updated form from what you saw at the last meeting. We added language, with regards to the availability, and this would provide you with electricity, the limitations on sound, the limitations of overnight occupancy dawn to dusk, and the fact that no for-profit, ventures would be there either. We want to take a look at the rates, that were on the front page there. And then as well, we want to have a discussion on whether or not we want the requirement for insurance, which through MMA and their third party provider would be $75 per unit.
I've had some. Issues or whatever, people complaining that they shouldn't have to pay for that, where they've already paid for it once. I mean, that should have come under public comment or what, but. And do they get fighting over that down there, who's gonna use it?
I don't know. It's gonna sound bad, it's small vocabulary, I think it was free, it might be, but I think even
I know,
being free to a resident, let's say for that per 2 hours, I think you still have to do something of a deposit
I agree.
on damages.
I agree.
If you go down there and you have something, say it be a child's birthday party, and stuff gets all stove up.
The town has to be protected.
Yes, the town has to be.
Yeah, I think the
And I don't
insurance
want
policy
people
that people have to pay for, you know.
Is that
The amount of money we,
the better way to go, is the
and
insurance at 75 versus the two, I mean, the 200 doesn't sound like much, but that's still a fair amount, right? I mean, if you've got to throw down $200.
I know one of them said she's had a couple birthday parties there and they just went down there.
well, and they still could do that,
Yep.
but you take a chance that when you get
Yes,
there, that
somebody else is
like it. So you don't have to pay for it if you wanna use it.
If you go there, you're in
Wanna
the gazebo,
reserve
someone
spot.
comes and says, I got this
I'm
reserved.
eating my lunch, you're out of luck, okay? Because I'm not.
Well, you got
moving
some
for your
half-
birthday party.
You got half, yeah, you got some half drunk boyfriend says, oh, we ain't moving, then what happens?
Right.
We call you.
So that's,
I'm off on that.
Ron's like, nah, no.
I definitely feel the pain of any resident having to pay. I mean, we did pay a hefty cost for it,
Mhm.
but on that same notion, as we saw with the first grill incident, some things are non-fixable. I mean, that's a forever state. So that's tough.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about his cars.
Yeah, that's you, again, I'm like. I wanna say you want people to treat it like it's their stuff, but no, I don't, I want them to treat it like it's someone else's stuff.
Community
and
spot.
Right,
Right.
you're
You're not the only one with the money.
you're being allowed to use something, but at the same time, you wanna leave it as good or better than you found it.
Right.
Or Boy Scouts or what, but I
Quote that's lasted though, for that reason.
so that's tough. But I do want people to have the ability to reserve it, because I don't wanna have to deal with somebody else being in there. And it's a child's birthday that comes to mind to me. If it's your birthday, I don't care, you're an adult, but it's when it's kid, you know? If you planned a special event because you don't have that in your backyard, or the ability to provide that in your apartment.
Mhm.
To be able to come down there and host a birthday party, it's a big deal, and I'm sure it does matter. So how do we do that, protect the taxpayers from not losing, the value in their investment by being damaged, or somebody carves their initials into the bench as they sit there, which now we can't just sand and paint out, because it's all Trex and vinyl. There's not really, yes, it can be fixed, but not really, and it certainly won't be cheap to have it fixed. But at the same time, we're also signing up for someone else to go inspect this after they're done. So we will bear a cost by this. You're gonna pay Richard, or, I mean, he's not free, nor is another town employee that volunteers to go check this afterwards. So there is a cost occurred to the town. But I see what you're saying about the taxpayers have already paid to have the damn thing.
The cameras that are down there. Are they always recording? Is people monitoring them? I don't know how that works. I mean, I was down there this weekend and a huge amount of trash in that back corner of the field. But the cameras might help us with this too, but I don't, how's that? I mean, you can only record probably a certain amount of time, that's.
I'm sure the top of
I
it.
can't talk to you about this really.
Oh,
The premises is, I'm not one possession, the premises is monitored by closed circuit cameras. That we are able to monitor remotely, whether from this office. Point of access. But the actual monitoring of the layout and whatnot is not for public consumption.
so we can't use it to protect ourselves with this. And it may not be good enough. I'll shoot over. Cause like your point of somebody passing.
No, I think we can, we just
Right.
don't talk about what it's, yeah. How it's
Okay.
something, we had this discussion, I think, prior to him joining the vote.
It's been a while since we've had it about the location of cameras and things like that.
So if you take out the insurance policy for
We have to
75,
go over it sometime.
you don't get that back, right? I mean, you've taken the policy at 75 for the policy, that's money good. You throw down a $200 deposit, you technically could get that back. Right. Provided.
I hope you get it
Right,
back.
no
Yeah,
damage.
right.
Yep.
So I don't know where the happy medium is. Do you want your 200 back, or do you want the 75 and peace of mind that regardless of what happens, whether it's your unintended guest that does something to it and you prove that it was done by.
So if they do put down a 200 deposit, something does happen, they don't get the 200 back. What if there's $10,000 worth of damage? Does our insurance cover that? Or,
I don't
you
know.
know what I mean, or is it
I
taking
guess
out that seven?
vandalism's not covered under my policy.
Or
Right.
taking out that they taking out this or insurance, would that cover? I just, if there's any expense there, I don't wanna eat that up.
No, me neither.
You know, we got 200 out of a $10,000. And they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, I paid the $200 deposit, damage deposit.
And really, let's, if you are a resident and it is a birthday party, $75 is a cheap date. Right? To rent something for 2 hours, $75 is pretty cheap.
So in here, it's the town reserves the right to seek additional damages to cover its full losses and associated costs. Not really out of the go.
No.
So what is the 75 through MMA? What would that cover? So let's say they buy that policy for $75.
So that, what they do is they're pretty much buying event insurance for that event. It names MMA as an added insured and us as an insured, so that if anything happens there, somebody's on the playground and hurts themselves because they're there, it covers everybody. But does it also cover damage?
I feel like that's a must.
I'd almost say residents paid 75 and
I think I agree.
I mean, I think everybody should.
And if we find that it becomes a problem that we might have, you know. Half the town wants to rent it every weekend, then maybe we do look at putting a fee on there as well. I want people, but I don't want it to become a competition of who has money and can pay for it. But
But with the understanding of the town, you don't have to reserve, it. You can use. it.
right, you can
Just
just
have
walk
to
down.
reserve it to make sure it's.
To make sure you're the only one, but that you want.
No, I agree.
So just the 75.
That's right, I mean, for residents, I would think.
Comfortable with
Who's
that?
gonna reserve the 2 hours? Who's gonna say you're there 2 hours? You get 2 hours and
Well, there's our cost, right? For that 2 hours, somebody's gonna have to go down there.
if they get the hell out
Put
of
the
there,
name on the little placard, right?
I mean, it can be updated once a week. We're there 5 times a week, so it's just a matter of.
no, but
Saturday
Saturday afternoon, okay. I got this reserved from 1 to 3, then someone says, you just put me out of here at 3 o'clock, I want this.
Well, that would be a real thing. I mean, 2 hours is 2 hours. I mean, if there's a schedule, you would need to abide by it.
Who's gonna throw them out? You gonna go down and do it?
Well.
But that's not an issue, if you don't have to demand. And if you have to demand, then you meet demand with supply, and you control supply by. And demand by pricing. So I think you start with $75, and it does not really, if you're not charging a fee, then it doesn't matter. How long they have it for, right, and book it for 8 hours. It's gonna be, you might get blowback that says, well, I want it for the morning, they want it for the afternoon. And have to do it that way, but people coming and going, as long as nobody's booked on either side, we don't have to be in business patrol. The only thing I need the ability to do is to go back when they said their reservation is ending. At 3 o'clock Saturday afternoon, be able to go in on the cameras, be able to say, okay, yeah, no, there's bags of trash left over here, or there's stains all over the gazebo. And it's just like that. That's the ability that we need. We're not in the business of, I mean, they have hotels without front desks. And if they can do hotels with no front desks.
Are you able
they
to
just
still
do
use
it.
Or do you need to card it with you?
I think we asked for it to be all out. Because we don't want cake boxes hanging around.
No, yeah, well, right, yeah.
We wouldn't want that on any other.
We're gonna carry and carry on.
Right,
Yeah,
and the parks committee's managing up the trash cans, so they're getting rid of the other barrels going for square covered. So it's in the lobby, yeah.
In the lobby.
Oh, okay, I'm like, who's the end? I'm not seeing you.
Yeah.
I think I like, I think that's good. So for a resident, you're looking at the 75.
Just the
Just
75, cover
75.
the insurance.
Make your reservation, please use it. With that kind of settle non-resident. So for a non-resident, are you comfortable with the free structure that's over there? I mean, like Scally can offer the place, cause you can go to Coburn, I don't know what Smithfield and our surround, I think Fairfield has a place you can do something like that.
They've got the gazebo in town by the fountain, but
Right,
I don't know if they rent it. I know they have functions there.
So if it's an out of, I mean, if you're gonna come from Fairfield, you know, to here. I mean,
You can wanna reserve.
You definitely. I think
You wanna drive all the way here.
I like the fee structure for that one.
I think I do too.
$100 that way. It gives our residents that benefit. Hey, it's already been paid for through tax dollars. So we're just paying for the insurance in case we do something to the structure
Yeah.
that $65,000.
with insurance,
Through the insurance.
this plus insurance.
Yes,
and do you wanna keep the reservation deposit and the damage and cleaning deposit? So for a non-resident to come in, rent our thing for 2 hours. It's gonna run you $425?
Equal. $375, cause that reservation.
Oh, right, it's
Deposit gonna go towards. The reservation deposit is intended to go towards the brand.
So do you like the deposit, or would you rather see just paid in full for you? I mean, just, I don't, am I,
A non-refundable rate or. The reservation
Oh, right,
deposit keeps you
right.
from booking it on Saturday from 12 to 2, not showing up and telling other people that might wanna be there, that they can't be there.
Right.
That's why I kind of structured with the reservation fee.
yeah, which makes sense now that you
So
say
if you
that.
give us 72 hours, you can get it back, but you don't want, cause the other thing is you don't want non-residents coming to town and start renting this. And then take it away from people that don't have a thing, but maybe just want the shade. So I think you have to be cost prohibitive enough for non-residents.
Makes sense.
it does make sense.
Like these are big bucks, I like that. Everybody kind of comfortable, so we'll go. Just a 75 policy for residents, and we'll keep non-residents just like it's listed.
Yep.
Okay. You want a motion on that?
Just like it's listed, and they have to do the 75 or the insurance,
Sorry?
and they have to do the 75 insurance policy. Yes. Yep.
Yeah, because I'm.
It's not an option.
I will reword
Yeah,
the
I agree.
insurance component that a residence reservation. Will be guaranteed when the insurance is purchased.
Okay.
I just said that, they have that.
Yeah, 75 bucks, that's cheap, especially to cover somebody getting hurt. Yeah, that's smart money.
Before any cost on that.
Yeah, it would, yes, it would. So you wanna,
We'll trigger in summary of that, yeah.
somebody wanna make that something?
Make a motion to,
As discussed.
yeah, for the Sula Park gazebo rental agreement as we just discussed.
Get motion. And a
Second.
second, any further discussion on that? Seeing none, all of those in favor? Opposed?
I abstain.
Japanese hanging out there,
Mhm.
abstaining, and that's fine. Moving forward into number 12, no, where are we? Yeah, 12.
No, 11.
11, size not really working today. Discussion action on the appointments.
The first is a vacancy on the cemetery committee, Joanne Hopkins, her application file. This will be to approve, appoint her to a term on the cemetery committee ending April 2026.
So move.
I'll second that.
Motion and a second. Graham, that's my neighbor,
No relation.
right, no, it's okay. That's like I didn't do it last time. Right, so, all those in favor? Second, buddy.
The second appointment would be Philip Newsler. He is a relatively new pilot to our airport, and that would be a motion to appoint him to the airport advisory committee, to a term ending in 2026.
So
Motion and a
I'll second.
second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's everybody. That's it. Yes, 12 here, when I'm back on track, discussion actions on public works through truck proposals.
All right, so I solicited probably a dozen different dealers, and when I say a dozen, that means the Three Heights and Garden Madison, the Central Lanes at 3, but I did do Islands, places like that, and we did get as much of a response as I hoped for, but it's all pretty competitive. There was one, as you'll see way at the bottom, which was essentially 40 and super high, and that was, because they submitted two proposals, and one didn't exclude sales tax, and the fact that Ford's, for us, they have the state contract, and we benefit from the state contract. And so they submitted a second proposal, which is your apparent vehicle low cost. On a 2026 Ford F-250, they were all, pretty close together. And then it's a matter of how you like to factor the, warranty into what you wanna do. If you want the warranty, don't want the warranty, or if you are partial to a Ford or a Chevy or a GMC. Tried to make everything as streamlined as I could, and I apologize for the delay, but we had something that didn't specify delivery windows. And then on the Fords that you have there, Central Maine actually only priced us the Ford Premium Care Base Extended Service, while Height gave us only the Premium Care Extended Service, so I needed to make sure that those were equitable, and then we could get both through both if that's what you wanted.
But if you run the factory warranty, it's 3-year 36, right? That's what it comes with?
Yes.
Okay.
And these warranties here are fleet specific, so we benefit from the, they're classified as fleet.
Well, it certainly isn't the time to get away from low bid. I'm just, as we were discussing earlier, we're kind of different views on the extended warranty. I mean, I've just recently purchased them for the vehicles I bought them, but I would understand why we wouldn't on the town. And when you get into commercial, which we technically are, I mean, the town is commercial, so I don't know how that plays into your regular warranty. I know when I've looked at everything personally, on the commercial, and it changes. Not to say it's not apples to apples. So I don't know, in my own opinion, whether the extended warranty would be worth it for a town view. Personally, I feel you should have it, but commercially, I don't necessarily think it's worth the extra 2,400.
Well, that's not a bumper bumper, that's just your basic.
Yeah, right, and
So when you go to the extended, you're down 46, and that's your bumper to bumper, mirror to mirror.
Right.
So it's 10%.
Any thoughts on that? I don't know if anybody feels strongly about an extended warranty, whether we should have that.
Personally, yes, I agree with you. I bought it on online too. What's the anticipated life of this vehicle? That's for the town.
In a perfect world, this one could last us 10 years, because it's not intended to be a hardware truck, this is a people mover, and a stuff mover. So it's deploying scientists, getting people out, instead of taking personal vehicles or dump trucks wherever they need to go. It's not supposed to have a plow on it, or have sand and salt back. They requested this as the group trial.
Do we know what Ford's Premium Care Base Extended, is that just on powertrain?
Yep.
And then the Premium Care Extended down below the 70 or 100,000 for 4,600, is that? like
Sure, the base is just your powertrain, the extended is bumper to bumper, mirror to mirror. It covers another 1,800 pieces.
Including electronics.
Well, so your electronics are covered for 5 years. That includes your safety belt systems, a lot of your electrical sensors, and that's standard. It's 3-year 36 on powertrain, and then you have 5 years on all your SRS and everything. I was just looking at Ford trucks. So you're 5 years on all those electrical components. So
Roll it out.
it is, and then it's a roll of the dice whether you're actually, again, you're into the commercial, whether it's the operator's fault or it's not always the same model, so you have all of them. So I don't know if it would be worth the argument of trying to get something covered at 56,000 miles. We have a brand new piece of equipment that wasn't covered, so I don't know if it's worth the extra 4,600 to go out And I don't know how far into this you can purchase that warranty. I think you have the option to get this warranty as long as you're under that 36.
Yeah. I think,
Right, you can go up to the 36 and then
So-
you'll buy into your warranty.
yeah, you've gotta extend it before your warranty runs out.
Right.
The original warranty.
And I don't
Yeah.
feel it changes the price much, but usually if you've got a lemon, it's well within the first
Then
36.
you're gonna know, right?
The only thing I would recommend here is that it comes from Central Maine Ford in Oakland. That would be my recommendation.
I had a melting off contest down to Scotland, but it's really nothing to well. I don't like them down.
We'll just leave it at that. My recommendation for this is Central Maine Ford.
That was given my 93-year-old father.
The only thing I do like, I mean, all of ours come from Skeffing.
No.
Yes, we've never had an issue like that, taken care of ours. The good thing with the Chevy, it does come with a 500,000 mile powertrain with no cost. So if you actually figured the Ford in, the 500,000, you've got to add the 2,500 on top of the 49 so it's actually a little bit more than the Chevy.
Where
To
did,
cover the
where'd
powertrain.
the Ford come from you got here now?
Yes, it did. We got it, that came from my, we bought it off the lot. Yeah,
Or wouldn't you say?
we just bought it off. Yeah. And I'm a Chevy guy. I just started buying Fords. You can't keep a body underneath GMC or Chevy. It's the same, your motor will run forever, but your body is just gonna be rusted out well within, it's gonna happen about that 7-year mark.
Right.
And I've struggled, so I personally have been switching to Fords. We already have a Ford here that's been relatively. We haven't had any major issues with that truck that I
I
know
think
of.
you're gonna find it's gonna rust off before, but I see salt sand.
Right, and that's prior to the aluminum. This is the aluminum body, and so that's kind of.
Tom Dell out of them.
Ideally, this, again, should be, let's say, a grocery getter, right? It's just moving people around, and there shouldn't be this. If the standard was going in the back, I would say, no, you don't want that aluminum body, but that's not the case with this truck.
Right.
I really don't, I have no preference really. They all
Oh, I do
like,
have a preference, I'm just doing it that why it's.
looking at, well. We'll be here all night.
So, yeah,
I mean, in today's world, preference is a majority of it, really,
no, you totally,
you
no,
know.
yeah.
What are we
You
gonna
turn
do?
that key, put her in D, you wanna go.
I'm a GMC guy, but I own Chevys also, but, you know. Not against
I wanna
Fords.
drop one off at Lambert's tomorrow to get new rockers and cab corners and a bed that just won't stay together.
Yeah, the aluminum body for the grocery getter, you said it. Will definitely last us longer, for
And
sure.
every GM I bought right from Heights Chevy,
Mhm.
all of them, and they've been good to me, they're on the Chevy. 100%. Never had an issue with them.
Well, the expectation of 10 years or even 12. It's real.
I
Yeah,
put three, I get, my expectation is 300,000.
yeah,
I run GMCs for 30 years and put 250 to 300,000 on every one of them. And really didn't have a whole lot of problems, but again, yeah, you know, and I didn't have to pay for them if I did. It was all company vehicles, but had very good luck with them, but they still run.
Yeah,
You know, the drivetrain was great. I didn't put brakes on the first GMC, the last GMC I had until 79,000 miles. I mean, but they still run.
What do you think their leader of the pack?
I have no opinion. I drive a Honda, and I wouldn't get a Honda truck.
no, I would not either.
Yeah, I got a couple of them, yeah. Yeah, that one, that's one to 320,000.
Sentiment for it. I really am that with the extended warranty. And honestly, with that warranty and, you know, the paying attention to it as much as we can, we could get more than 12, if it's just supposed to go. You really could have just taken care of it.
Matt, it makes a difference. The fire department will be coming after you this time next year, maybe a little earlier in the year, but for a new cabin chassis to replace a 25-year-old, be 26-year-old cabin chassis at that time.
Right.
And we will have a preference, and it will be for the,
Well, the whole,
it'll be for the, whoever's building it, it'll.
Right, right.
That will be our preference, I can tell you right now.
And then you're gonna take the body off 24 and put it onto that, is that what you intended? So
So,
that
yeah.
body being aluminum won't really matter to you, then. You won't want a body, you'll want the aluminum cab.
Did Chevy not go to aluminum? I thought they did it one.
I don't think they have,
Currently, they're,
yeah,
right,
I don't think they have, yeah.
not anymore, I could be wrong.
But, and I'm not specifically saying Ford. Because I don't even really know.
Right.
We will be after aluminum. As a strong, I'll say owner preference. Department preference. For all the obvious reasons. And that'll be more like a fleet, but at 550, but still.
Yeah.
No,
And, you know, maybe,
How many miles would we put on these trucks in the 7 years? Or do you know roughly mileage per year?
any idea what's on the board now?
No, not a clue, matter of fact, but they use it for so many different things.
Well, I still can't imagine this much.
No,
so an average person puts 10 to 12,000 a year on a vehicle.
36 on you, oh, yeah, cause yeah, you're right, yours is a Ford as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
What year is that?
2020.
So we take what's it.
5 years versus that.
I just think to make sure we get the warranty that covers us for the longest period, because we probably won't go with mileage.
Right. Yields.
So we might as well get his years out of the
Right.
7 year, that's for an extra couple hundred bucks, if that's what we're
Mm,
looking at. The 7 year, 100,000 mile for 28. Is that what you're thinking? Yeah, 'cause we definitely want more than the 336.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chevy gives you that.
Mhm.
Um, If the motor or the training go, they'll be cut down to 100,000, you know, it's big, expensive.
And those are the big ones, right?
Yeah, right, those laws, that's the price tag in them.
Yep.
I would definitely support the Ford with the 7 year, 100,000, 28, 60 for the extended at the base extended service, not the premium.
I'll play clue. It's Ford, from Central Maine Ford, with a 7-year base extended service warranty.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what we're saying.
Feel strong about that.
That's right.
You comfortable with that?
I am.
Or do you
I'll
guys-
say, yeah, I am,
Okay.
I'm agreeable at that time.
All right, somebody wanna make a motion? I mean,
I'll
I
make
will,
that-
but I don't-
I'll make that motion.
Okay, so there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? You just want a truck.
My brother is pointing a finger at me.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe I'm gonna buy Fords, honestly. We can ride. I will say that.
He
I will
loves
tell
it.
you that the
He loves it.
rep at Central Maine Ford and the rep at Hyde Chevrolet were very, very, very responsive to the request. And so
Mhm.
from my perspective, anybody that shows up here at the office to drop off or ask about anything, I genuinely appreciate. So, they go to them.
Okay.
You know, my brother's got 330,000 on his phone. He's just telling me the other day.
Really?
Yep. Aluminum body, so
Nice.
he's definitely has to use.
Okay, number 13 here, discussion action on.
Appropriating the funds for the library.
There we go.
We all know I can't read.
Pictures.
Well, we have some nice pictures in here, we have a couple cost estimates, a new library drop box. Is in the ballpark, $6,000 to $7,000.
Stuff.
Yeah, and that skyrocketed under COVID. When everybody wanted the ability to push people further away from the entrance of their place of business. And so it's been a long time need and desire of the library to have it. If you look at the one that they have now, the water gets into it, it gets rubbish put into it, it's got mangled legs. And so Kelly, the librarian, found a free one, which is out in front of this office right now, it doesn't look like one in the picture. And Jean Lancaster, chair of the library board, and her husband Eric, went to get it. They loaded it up and brought it back here, and then they've taken it to Lambert's Auto Body to see about getting the exterior fixed. And then they went to Lucky's to get a price quote for affixing the logo and some writing on the front. You know, can't blame them for asking, they wanted to see if we could find money in another fund. So they thought TIF, I said, no, I don't qualify, and I said, well, what about rescue plan? I mean, that's what drove the cost of these in the first place, it seems to kind of fall in. We've got about 114 in there, and why not? And right now, we're looking at the library reserve, potentially for a bigger expense, and so it would kind of be unfortunate to take, $708 needlessly from the account to do something like this, when we do have an account that really was, we could have justified this expense back a while. So, I appreciate their frugality, and their time, donation of time and vehicle to go and get, regardless of where the student here today. But the request from the library would be to appropriate up to, I'll say $725 for the refurbishment of the drop box, with funds appropriated from ARPA.
Yeah, that's a hard yes for me, and again, that's awesome, that they took the time and did that, and yeah,
700 versus 6,000.
yeah, that's awesome.
Right.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, I'll second, vote for the second, any further discussion, not seeing none, all those in favor? That's that's everybody.
No, I've been down to the hospital this morning, 6 o'clock, X-rays.
Oh, jeez.
I'm not faking it.
Number 14 here, discussion action on wastewater treatment facility operator job description.
So I have received a relatively informal notice of retirement from the current operator. They're being very flexible with us in terms of.
Informal commit to be rescinded. It's not.
But he's done a remarkable job for us, and one of the things that he has done is done what the job needed and not what the job description called for. If not for that, there would probably be a lot of gaps in it, and he would be responsible for sewer billing. And collections. So I went through this before we advanced with a job posting. You need to approve this, the union needs to not disprove it. They have 15 days to review it. And so my asking of you is to accept these revisions. And accept this as your
Did you,
job description.
you have, what do you look these over at all?
No.
You want? You just satisfied?
did, John.
You're a good man.
In full disclosure, I have already sent it to the union, to get their time clock ticking on that 15-day waiver window. If we make changes to what you said.
Nah, I read through, just send that. Got it.
Really want to say.
What this job pay?
Look
Can
at
I answer him?
Commensurate with experience, if we were posting, we'd probably say it was 27, starts at 27 commensurate with experience. Not
I didn't say I'm sorry. They put these kind of revisions to it, are we gonna get any candidates, you think?
commensurate with experience. I think we're gonna have to start thinking about this a little non-traditionally. For what we have, we could sit and talk about everybody's pay rate today, but we've got a very, very good deal with Tim running the plant, even with recent wage adjustments. The deficit sort of I was driving is. Yeah. It's gonna take something, whether that's partnering with water district and putting those two roles together, or finding something that's, you need the redundancies, you need the assistant, and Tim's done so much without an assistant.
He's a, not even flashy,
No, or meticulous. And reliable, and so when you get somebody that wants to follow it or not do, then they cost you more money.
Sure.
And so that's most success here, but.
Make a good assistant, wouldn't he?
It would.
Oh,
It's gonna be a big pivot point for the sewer department, I slice it.
I mean, I'm comfortable with what Tim
Yeah,
went through
yeah,
to
yeah.
come up with this. I mean, if Tim's been doing this job and doing well for this long. Which we feel is a good description, I would go with that. I'll make a motion to accept as approved.
Yeah. Second.
Motion and a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Okay, and thank you.
Yeah,
for what
okay,
you've done.
we did it.
Truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
I know for the most part, people don't really realize what you're doing in that great truck, but.
The good thing is there's no fixed date term.
Right, right, it's just stay all you want. Okay.
Right, please, stay long as you can. Yeah.
Oh, and here, our early discussion, number 15 here, discussion action on artificial intelligence policy.
So I'm not sure if you folks read the paper or whatnot, most people don't. But when Winthrop had an article in the paper about this, and what we're seeing is more and more AI coming into the workplace. Some of it's used for just refining language, some of it's used for imagery, some of it's used for video stuff. I had somebody send me, once they saw this on the agenda, they sent me some samples. And I'm like, yeah, I appreciate it, but no, thank you. I would rather play this one ahead than from behind. It's developing quickly. We have the new technology that we've signed on, the software that we've signed on for road band. Uses AI. And something like this says that the individual operator utilizing the AI will be responsible for the ultimate decision on the AI. AI is gonna start making decisions for us, and we're gonna say, oh, well, it's because AI said so.
Yeah.
That's what I'm afraid of.
You can literally hear it being said.
Yeah.
Right, so there are accountability factors, you know, there's coming up with your own organic information. If I tell you, it's biggest helper with the newsletter. I write an article and then I send it through it and it buffs it up for me. I can take what I want or lose what I want. You know, things like that, but if I'm just saying write me an article alone, then we need to have that disclaimer because somebody could come after us and say, well, that came from this paper that I wrote back here. And AI just found it and sourced from that. So I think it's about disclosures and it could be perceived. Could be perceived maybe overkill at this point in time. But you know, give it another 6 to 12 months and we might wish that we've done this already.
It's moving so fast, so it's.
No, I agree, I
Well, if
agree.
you've seen the paper recently, there was an article about the sheriff's office.
Correct.
But what?
The sheriff's office,
Oh,
If you're using cameras
body cameras.
and that automatically transfers.
Automatically
into-
generates a report for us if we ask it, I mean. It's not accepted until we've gone through it and fixed what needs to be fixed and added, it won't let you just send that off, it has to be approved and then there's a disclaimer. It goes at the bottom, they're basically saying you've gone through, made sure it's fact and accurate before it's approved. And that's, I'm saying,
And we have the same ability with your meetings. I could hit a button at the conclusion of this meeting and say generate the meeting minutes. I haven't done that yet. But it has that ability and future staff or future board members may want that. So I think it's important that we set a bar early and then we keep an eye on it.
agree,
Yep.
make a motion to accept what you draft.
Motion made. Second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's everybody.
Gonna be riding around and flying vehicles.
Yeah, I don't know, crazy.
Yeah, not for a while, we just bought food.
Well, that's 7 to 10 years, right?
If we fly, we don't need plows.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, number 16 here, discussion action on voting for Maine Municipal Association Executive Committee.
This is largely, being supportive of the association and participating, they credential your slate of officers and there's no competition. But because they're good to us, we should be good to them. And the recommendation would be to vote for the full slate of candidates as proposed and authorize the chair to sign the choice speech.
Motion made.
And then one second.
Yeah, second.
Second. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's everybody.
That's an awful lot to.
You think all that, yeah.
Number 17, other business.
I have other business. Can I take it out of one of them?
Yes.
The first would be, could we get a motion to add discussion action on property loans to the agenda?
So
Motion and,
What was it?
Property loan.
Oh, yeah,
property loan.
yeah, I was
Motion
making it.
second, any discussion, seeing none, all in favor? To everybody, I know you guys support it.
All right, we have a buy face here on the table, that when the cemetery committee and contractor and volunteer were working in the cemetery on Upper Main Street, they located this. It was an article, that I, pieced together from the information that Kathy Hopkins had provided us, as well as the Main Historic Preservation Commission. And it's, a historic but largely worthless rock. It is, however, the property of the town of Norridgewock. We can keep it in the safe, and that's wonderful, but the discussion that cemetery committee had was it would be better suited to be held by the historical society. As a part of maybe a larger and or growing, historical cemetery-ish display. So we pulled together, I pulled together a draft, loan agreement. And it was largely overkill, but the goal was to have it be universal. Sent it to the cemetery chair, she said, okay, good enough. Sent it to the historical, they said, too much. And so they sent us a boilerplate from them, that said, look, you're gonna loan it to us. This is what it is, we'll give it back to you if we're done with it. I would recommend adding the provision that if we would like it back before they are done with it, that we are able to get it back when we submit in writing for them.
That was on our policy. That's the third one. You want it back, you can move that. It's not frozen. I think it's mentioned in the covenant.
Maybe, but it wasn't on the form that we're all gonna sign. It just said that it's a loan, and should the historical society you don't know this, should the historical society discontinue its display, the lender will be notified and offered the return of the item.
It's an error on the form.
So I added, the lender has the right to recall a loan at any time. Not that we're going to get that rock back, but.
That's why the reason there, honestly. And it happened. But I did put it in the cover letter.
So the town of Norridgewock will always be the town of Norridgewock, there'll always be somebody probably sitting on this board unless it's another town board. But a nonprofit organization may be subject to people changing or closing up or things like that. So I think it's important that we maintain our chain and ability to recall. The historical society internally, before my time, has seen a lot of things be subject of internal politics is maybe the nicest way to put it, where things were given but then seen by other people and families as loaned or whatnot. And it does create a sticky mess, but we were advised by historic preservation and MMA to loan and structure that loan.
We changed our policy too, because it said, it had choices in the beginning, they could give it to us outright. Or they could say, give it back to the family and trace it through the heirs or whatever, I mean, you're gonna trace. Somebody's sugar plots all the way back to the relatives who moved to Texas. So that's a change I recommend we've made, so now we urge gifts. We take very few loans, we make an exception for this, and we'll put on the display, it's a loan from the town.
motion.
Sorry.
Yep.
I would recommend a motion that we sign an agreement, authorize me to sign the agreement. Reserving the right to recall a loan at any time with written notice, and also to donate $250 to support the display of cemetery items at the Norridgewock Historical Society.
Motion some. Yes.
Okay, motion. In a second, any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And then we got, his arm hurts, but he does.
Yeah.
I know he does. What else?
The next one will be the letter that's in your packet from a group of residents from Perkins Street, Welch Street and Stanley Drive. They have speed concerns in the area, which then translate to safety concerns. They've asked for consideration of traffic calming measures. I I appreciate it, they've reached out to me, they've been responsive, I understand that they are seen as cut through streets, especially when the lights aren't working right. So what I've done is they, beyond the speed, say, well, it's a hazard to the kids that are fishing on the break.
Just down here.
It's dangerous.
That's down here. So unfortunately for the people that like to fish off the bridge, I have contacted DOT. And I have asked them to post the sign for
No picture.
whatever is, no standing, no sitting, no whatever. If that's the legitimate safety concern, then that's what needs to be done, because it's now been submitted in writing to us. And now, everybody that's near this falls liability, so I've transferred that to DOT's regional traffic engineer and asked him to come up with a plan. That we want to partner with, on that. And I will also reach out to the sheriff, and I understand that it is fully, gone down to
It's already been pushed.
parties that be and patrol will be amped up, in the back triangle area.
I wish Mike was here again, because I have the perfect solution for this. Speed bumps would work ideal on these roads to deter that.
Yeah.
That's
Because
very-
and I mean, I'm honestly just as guilty as anybody else, of just dusting right through those, because it is easy to do. And you forget the amount of children that do live on these roads. And not just kids, I mean, everybody walks, that is a pretty common walking path. Did we purchase the throwdown ones? The throwdown speed bumps?
Yeah,
Where are they now?
where they belong.
You ain't got on that road, and you actually do a great job of the speed limit. I've never seen a city this. I mean, myself, I would throw those down in a second. I wouldn't think twice about it. I mean, we have them, throw them down. If nothing else, it will deter people. They'll think they're there. I know. we
Then
have
come
them.
cold weather and they break around. they
Well, you
go-
gotta take them off cold. I don't think we leave them down for cold weather to pop them up. And neither road is freshly paved, so those spikes can be driven right down into them. Cause they spike down, don't they?
Which spot are we talking about?
On these
Right
back
here.
roads here.
Right here.
We only got one set, so you have to pay.
I would think the more prudent one would be, was it Welch, right here, Boone Street, the
Yeah.
first one, gets a lot. And I mean, it would also deter you from doing burnouts at the end of that road, right there. So I mean, that's a pretty perfect spot if you ask me, but that's just me. Then the rest of the board doesn't feel that way, then that's fine.
You
But-
can on both.
Yeah.
Both streets, and then when I do the details of here, it's,
Steady,
yeah.
I get it.
Listen to Ronnie some Saturday, Sunday morning.
I'll be on Saturday
Steady.
morning between 7 and 11 this week,
Yeah.
so. Just a fair warning.
You don't wanna see.
So again, that's great that we have the details and stuff, but that leaves large holes, and a speed bump, you can't really get around it, you gotta go out somebody's lawn. So again, I'm more than comfortable with those being put down, if nobody else feels that way, that's fine.
I don't have a problem with speed bumps either. I mean, I have kids, grandkids, and I'm just as guilty at times. I try not to be, but that would definitely slow all of us down.
Yeah, and if not, you hit a bump pretty hard and then
Yeah.
realize that, damn, I was going a little too fast on this road.
Exactly.
Do we want to address school bus route? Because the school buses use Welch Street as a bypass. Which
So from what I,
creates terrible pattern for everybody.
but
because you-
what I hear from school buses, and I'm not pointing fingers here, my grandkids drive them, they go way too fast now. I don't
They-
think a speed bump is gonna hurt them a bit either.
I second
Do
that.
we want to reach out to the bus drivers and ask them to stay on primary routes? Because what they're doing is they use this street, which is what everybody does to save time. Then they come out here and they're taking a left turn at an entrance where there's no crosswalk. And they will tell you that the school bus will go just as fast.
No, but, and I agree, I think we should,
But everybody else.
But I want kids to school on time. If someone's avoiding the light, it should be the school bus to get to school on time.
No,
You
it
want
has
to
to be early.
things up. Well,
You wanna wrangle
But the other
down,
side of it too, as a maintenance guy, they're wasting money on maintenance on that vehicle by doing that.
yeah, but you want to start
Right
wrangling
in
this
the turn in,
thing
The
54.
gas and consumption, it's hurting their budget. By doing that, stop.
Which not about wrangling, it's about
But I
working
know-
together. And the same people that are supposed to be serving and protecting the children are cutting through side streets and putting those children at risk. There are no sidewalks for those kids, but the school tells them that they're expected to walk to school and they're not gonna provide them transportation. And that,
you're right. Well, we have such a good board. I would do both. I would put the speed bumps down as well as reach out to the swing district.
I agree,
No,
for sure.
Yeah, it says $10 is by your house, but your kid can't get on any.
yeah,
No, you're right. And with what's going in this world, I would rather see them get on them buses because
me too.
there's things you're hearing again.
I got the comment about it, says, Christ, does any kid ride the school bus anymore? I'll have cars down there, boy, Lindsay straightened me out on that. You want your kids riding them school buses? Well, they did for a long.
So was I.
Wow, I mean, so. I guess I'll keep my mouth shut because I.
Are you guys comfortable with that? You comfortable?
Yeah, I definitely
Put the
think.
speed bumps down and. One, we had no purchasing new ones, just put down what we have, you guys can decide where exactly it goes, you and Public Works, or whoever you want involved with it, put them where you feel it's approved. And then. Contact the school or the bus garage, wherever you need to. And
We
it's
may
a
get
it's a
some,
start.
we may get some pushback on this, but you know, it comes down to the safety, of the kids in the community.
It is, yeah,
No, not gonna win that argument.
okay, do you want an official motion on that, or do you?
I'm comfortable.
You're recorded. Excellent.
Yeah, they gotta come in.
Do you have anything else, other?
I do. I would like you to add discussion and action on both and reduce to the agenda, please.
So. Motion, so me, second. Okay, I'll second.
Oh, yep. Second. Yep.
Any discussion on adding? Seeing none, all those in favor? It's everybody.
All right, I have received a request from Life Church, which is the church on Skowhegan Road, to hold a picnic at the ball fields on the afternoon of August 24th. One would infer that that picnic would be a barbecue. So we'll start with that. Right? And the second is they would like to use the ball fields. So in essence, they're asking for the use of public space for private enjoyment. And so the request before you would be to authorize them to utilize the ball fields on August 24th and to have a barbecue.
And we have nothing on those fields at that time.
It's Sunday, no, I don't need to plan. We don't do rec on Sundays customary unless there's weather issues, and soccer will be started up by then.
I mean, I appreciate them asking, but if the general public just wanted to go down and use it, they wouldn't have to ask permission, right?
Right. They
Like
would,
if I wanted to take a group of my buddies down on Sunday afternoon and play catch for 3 hours, I wouldn't have to have an issue.
right, but to
But you
barbecue
can't
and stuff,
barbecue.
we have to.
Right, we have to approve
policy.
the policy that we just
Right.
did.
What's the extent of the barbecue? Couple of grills or those are no?
No,
Chicken.
be a couple girls.
Yeah.
But in the same vein, do you want private organizations just going down and using this pickup? Which is
And
the
that's,
tournament thing, which is why.
Right,
for
yeah,
you,
right,
it needs-
because I wouldn't be comfortable with that. You know what I mean, like
Everybody comes to us to use our fields.
yeah.
So it's a small approval, I think,
Yes,
when you have an organized activity like that.
no,
I don't have
any concerns that you can foresee?
I think they've done it in the past informally,
Anyway,
but they're trying to formalize because I think they want to make it bigger for people to come.
Yeah.
So I appreciate it,
I'm good, and they've asked, and
I am sure.
I am too, yep.
let's say follow,
Definitely.
please.
policy on the gross motion.
Motion,
Second, yep.
any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? Okay, you have anything else?
Have the books. What's the last letter in this?
Sorry.
Oh, I was distracted reading that
Did
there.
Nora, include this as an action item? I've included it in their packet, it came generically to the town of Norridgewock. And I provided to you for reference and it will be incorporated into the documents tonight. I'm not sure it was unsolicited and I'm not sure if this board took any action with regards to it. But I don't know,
What is
that?
not sure, so anyway.
Been here a long time, that's a first for me.
This is me, and
Who's the sign it? I'm not a Democrat, just so you guys know.
Absolutely
I'll
not.
put that out there right now.
So, without invoking the gentleman's name, I would might as well read it into the record. So that everybody's not wondering. Dear sirs, just a short note to let you folks know that this family is experiencing no service from Central Maine businesses. With money in hand, we wait for someone to show up and they said they would. So far, this family has been snubbed by a local electrical company, a local wood company. And my wife and I are unable to even obtain a delivery of gravel. I'm being persecuted for my beliefs and condemnation of the current child abusing political scene. If this is how you Democrats get rid of vote rockers, you're doing one hell of a job. And by the way, how dare you folks go on as if nothing is amiss while children are made to doubt their gender and sexuality. Shame on you, Norridgewock, telling children lies. As always, a resident of Norridgewock. Yeah, so that is a letter before the board, and unless you ask me to respond, I will leave it without.
Response for that.
So I included that in your packet.
I shouldn't even ask that, I was doing with the generator downtown. I know it's
It's
still
still
there.
going.
Still going.
I checked it on my way here.
Yeah, we check it every time we drive by, roll the window down, run it.
On it.
I don't think they realize that them, pieces of plywood are not doing anything.
No,
How much is
Other
that?
than them being a fire hazard, that's something we can look into.
Oh, sure, maybe burn it down.
Well,
we don't.
We
Like,
don't have an inspection ordinance.
No.
That supports the fire department going and doing something like that.
What, how much is that costing a day to run one of them?
Does the board have any other business?
No.
no, well, just on a side note, do you know if if he's got, because it's right here, isn't it? Did that get cut back for the school buses coming out of this? I did read it, I hate to say, on Facebook there, about buses were having issues with that brush line. I know we had talked in the school,
The school is aware of it, but also DOT was asked.
okay,
I'm not deploying resources because quite frankly, I drove out of there in a car and I could see. So if I had.
did it get cut back? I mean, because it was difficult to see, I mean, I did come out that, I mean, you've gotta get out there quite a ways before you can actually see good.
I'll take a look at it again.
Okay,
I didn't see it to be a big issue, but I also sent it into the region, so.
I mean, my stuff is falling on deaf ears, because it certainly doesn't hear, so.
I would appreciate it if people brought it to the town office of the DOT as opposed to Facebook.
I would too, I feel that we're very responsive.
We try.
The book of face.
Thanks. Number 18 there. I'll take a
Motion
motion.
to adjourn.
Yeah. Second.
not second it.
Any discussion? I don't think so. All those in favor, that's everybody.